Yeah.
Alright, hello and welcome back everybody, Two Wheel Demon here. I know it has been a very long time, but we're back. We're trying this again. I think this COVID stuff's on its way out, but you know, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, today we are back on this same Venom Grom clone that we had in the last video, except in the last video it was red. And throughout this video we'll go into what has happened with this bike, what it has been through, and maybe what is to come of it if we even know for sure. So here we go, let's see how this does. Oh. Alright, and off we go. Guys, so now that we're on the same back roads we were for the last video, we'll get into a little bit of the story of this bike and where it's been and what it's gone through and what else is going to be going on and what the future for this channel is. So to start with, like I just said, we're back on the Venom. It is the X20 Grom clone. In my last video I went over my initial impressions on it, some of the things I had done on it, and just in general what upgrades you needed to do to these to make them decent running bikes and make them, I don't want to say as reliable as a true Grom, but somewhere to that standpoint to where they're a decent bike. And in my last video I covered, of course, you do the carburetor, you get rid of the emissions, the EGR, delete all that, and it never hurts to throw an exhaust on here. And right now we're currently running the same exhaust I was before, except the baffle's now been taken out, so it's a lot louder. So if you, hopefully you can hear me clearly. But anyway, so not long after the last video I actually sold this bike to a guy off of OfferUp, and I thought that would be the end of this. I thought there'd be no more. I thought that was the end of my clone series. Well, late 2020 I wound up acquiring a Tao Tao Grom clone, which is the OG style one, which, to be fair, that one is pretty much garbage compared to a Grom. The shifter and everything, just nothing's right on it. This one, on the other hand, I don't know what Venom does different, but it's a lot better. It's probably the best clone you can buy that's going to be a Grom clone. But I get a message on OfferUp from the guy that actually bought this Grom clone from me. And what has happened was he apparently took a corner, went down, slid front end first into a curb, trashed the custom headlight I had on here, bent the handlebars all out of whack. The front, if you had the front end pointed straight, the front wheel was probably 45 degrees. He messed up the whole front end, and in doing so, going down, the whole tail section came apart. He did a really good number on this bike, and he asked me if he could pay me to fix it. And ultimately, for paying someone to fix a clone, you're not going to come out ahead because they are super cheap from the get-go. You're only paying $1,500 plus or minus a bike, depending on what deal and what clone you buy. So that being said, he racked up over half the cost of the bike in repairs. And so I made him a low offer to buy it back, because I hate to admit it, but I got the bike here, got to looking into it, rode it around the neighborhood a couple times. The front end was messed up, but it still ran really good. Everything about the bike was still solid. I had no real complaints about it. And so I made him an offer, he took it. So what all I had to fix, of course I had to replace the bars. I had to replace, or I had to straighten out the headlight cage that holds the headlight on and the gauges straight and that sort of thing. Needless to say, the entire headlight was absolutely obliterated. Headlight turn signals, it was a really nice demon eye, or monster eye headlight as some people will call it, where you have the cafe racer look. But anyway, so I had to fix the headlight, had to fix the gauges, had to fix a little bit of wiring. Naturally, the fairings, the front fender was torn up. The left side gas tank fairing was torn up. The garnish, as they call it down here, was torn up. So I wound up having a spare set of fairings, and I threw those on. It was actually the 2020 Grom Blue that I had on here, and I already have one of those Groms in the garage, so I made a deal with someone and traded them for the highlighter yellow that you're seeing now. I put a factory style headlight back on it and just pretty much fixed it all up, and it wound up, the forks not being bent, but it wound up being actually the triple tree. The lower bracket on the triple tree down there was completely tweaked and out of whack. So just a bunch of odds and ends had to get fixed, and I was really surprised because when I sold it to him, it had maybe 80 miles on it. Excuse me. I didn't do a lot of riding, but I did enough to get some testing done. When I got it back, it had 400 miles on it. And I haven't rode it much since I got it back, but I put it back together. And this right here is honestly my maiden voyage since I got it back. And I can already tell I need to change the jet and the carburetor because I modified the exhaust. I should have thought about that when I did that. So it's sputtering a little bit. But the other thing I've done since I've had it back would be to get new tires put on it. The factory tires that come on any clone, and I think they're called, I don't know what it is, I think it's spelled CELMETO, something like that. It's a really bad tire. They're super slick, they're hard rubber, they really aren't safe to be on any road in my opinion. So put tires on it, new fairings, did some straightening, new triple tree, new bars, and all has been well. So that's the history on this clone and where it's been. For anyone wondering, the bike is now 2 years old. It's got 440 miles on it, and honestly it's doing great considering that the guy that bought it from me more or less totaled it. Now, on to some other things. The future to come on this channel is I will probably get another clone. I actually would like to do an off-road build. I have a set of clone wheels that I put some Maxxis knobbies on, and I want to get another clone and dedicate it straight to off-roading. There's a mud park not too far from my house where I take my four-wheelers, and I meet up with friends. We do all the side-by-sides and everything else. But it would be fun to have one of these and see how it holds up off-road. And I know with the reputation they have with bolts coming loose, could make for some fun times and quality entertainment for you guys. Now, with everything else that's gone on, when we last talked, I had my KTM, my Harley, and 3 other Groms. And so we have progressed now to 5 Groms. The KTM is still here, and the Harley is still here, and now this clone is back. So I'll be able to make some more clone videos as this thing progresses further. I have a 2020 Grom, I have two 2019s, and two 2015s. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I hope to be able to make some more content for you guys soon. I would like to. I miss riding. I haven't been able to do a lot of it. And I'm really looking forward to getting back into this. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it here. Hope you guys have a great day. I hope the COVID stuff has not gotten to any of you, anyone that follows me, any of your friends, family. I hope that all of you made it through all this COVID crap without any real serious illness. So just get out there, be safe, ride, and I will see you guys soon.